Hi, so I know it's been a while. Um, I've been kind of busy and I kind of forgot about these. Well, not that I forgot, but I didn't really have anything important to mention. So, for today, I was thinking that I could tell you about kind of the history of rares. So as some people will know, a long, long time ago when Wyville first started, the only parts you could buy were Akbars designs, and they were, hilarious because they're things like Robbie plant hair, and well, that's probably the funniest one. And then there was the Elvis hair and a bunch of other things. But people said they were ugly, and they wanted different ones, so they made the Face Factory, and you could make your own face parts, except you couldn't restock them. So as soon as you made it, that was it. There was only 4 or whatever, and you had to draw it all over again if you wanted to make more of them. So then people said, hey, I'd really like to be able to restock. So they said, okay. And then you could save, your designs would be in your Face Factory history, and you could restock anytime, any amount. And back then, the mall didn't exist. It was a face parts store, I guess. And things were listed. There was Akbar, premium parts and bargain basement. And then there were pages, ABC, whatever. And you would click on the letter that the part was categorized by name. And then charity, of course, was all I don't even know what the hell that symbol is, the squiggle, asterisk squiggle, and then it would just be hot black hair or whatever. And then, yeah, we got a mall, and you could make stores, and then people could search by the store, by the designer, and whatever. And you couldn't name things like squiggles and upside down Y's and all sorts of stuff. And then probably, I guess, when did Pizzazz come out? I don't even know. Maybe 2005, I'm gonna guess. It was about the time that the unsellies started, and people would purposely only stock 4 of something and then delete the design, allegedly. And then you'd have peddlers, that's what I called them, people who would wear 4 of something and show up and be selling whatever it was called, Elmo, or Pizzazz was a big one, Rainbow Randolph. It's disgusting that I remember the names of face parts. But yeah, so then people were getting scammed and whatnot, and there was big debate as to whether or not this should be allowed. And then it was determined that it kind of was, because there's eBay and there's auctions and there's garage sales and all sorts of stuff, right? Even though it wasn't marketed for resale, a lot of the stuff we end up buying ends up being resold. And then, of course, with all of this comes the issue of remaking. And, well, I used to be totally against remakers, but then I thought about it and I learned how to draw a lot of my Wyville parts. Well, not the new ones now, but back then, in the early 2000s, I learned by essentially copying other people's designs, only I don't think anyone had a tablet, if they even existed. There definitely weren't copy programs. The closest you could do is probably count pixels and practice in Paint. And I think some things that I saved and put in CorelDRAW and went over them and changed the colors to see what they would look like. But I didn't have the time or the patience for pixel mapping. Remember, my parents had these rules where I only had half an hour online. So I would just kind of draw the basic outline and color in whatever and try and make it look like it, but most of the time my remakes are really crappy knockoffs. But okay. Anyway, point being that when it comes to remaking, yeah, it sucks that people copy your designs or, like, you know, steal your artwork, as some of you feel that that's what it is. But at the same time, it has a place in a sort of social economic perspective, and this is already 5 minutes long, so I'm not going to get into it because that alone, like, I don't even know where to start. It's going to be a long one. So that's a brief history of Akbars face mall, and hopefully you found it interesting. If you have questions about anything in particular you want to know about, then just email me or leave a comment, and, like, I'll try and answer them. Like, sometimes people do, so that's good. Alright, so have a great weekend and happy March break, everyone.